This episode of the Fairway to Retail Success is brought to you by AGM vendor partner T-Commerce, the online retail solution for golf facilities. T-Commerce helps merchandisers and golf professionals expand sales beyond the physical shop and fill merchandising gaps. Give your members and customers the convenience of shopping online 24/7, all with no extra inventory risk or additional work for your staff. Visit tcommerce.shop to learn how easy it is to take your shop online. Now, back to today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fairway to Retail Success and AGM podcast. I'm your host, Justine Cook, the AGM's Director of Membership and Education. Today, I'm joined by Jodi Gascoigne, one of South Florida's most dynamic merchandisers, whose creativity and data-driven approach have made her a standout leader in private club retail. Over the past 2 decades, she's built her career across several of Florida's premier clubs, including the Polo Club of Boca Raton, Royal Palm Yacht and Country Club, Quail Valley, and Meisner Country Club. Now she's preparing for the exciting grand opening of a brand new golf shop at the Country Club at Mirasol in Palm Beach Gardens, where she and her team are already creating buzz through innovative member engagement, social media storytelling, and the powerful use of Golf Genius Golf Shop. Jodi, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you, Justine. It was so nice to be here. As I mentioned before, you have such a nice list of guests, and I'm just happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. So you've built, like I said, an impressive career in golf retail across South Florida. How did you first get started in the golf industry, and what kind of led you to your current role now at the Country Club at Mirasol?
So I actually started out as a high school or middle school and high school English teacher straight out of college, but was looking for some part-time work. And a good friend from school was a assistant pro at the Polo Club, Scott Sheffield, who's now the head pro at Royal Palm. So I started doing some part-time work there and just loved the industry, loved we were doing, and stopped teaching and started my role as the soft goods manager over there.
Very cool. Very cool. And you mentioned, I know you had an early mentor at the Polo Club at Boca Raton who helped shape your approach, which I think is fantastic. What lessons from that time have really stayed with you as you've moved to these various clubs around the South Florida region?
Pam Bouchard was the golf shop manager at the time at the Polo Club. And being that I had zero experience in hospitality, Pam really taught me everything, folding, displaying, how to help members, everything. But she was there a very long time and a phenomenal manager. So I try to absorb as much as I possibly could from Pam. And one of the biggest takeaways that I've taken from her advice and from watching her is just how to treat your staff as a manager really shapes the entire atmosphere of the golf shop. She was not just the merchandise manager, she was the golf shop manager. So she played a bigger role maybe than some other buyers in the shop, but from making sure your staff is trained properly, given the tools for success, really caring about the staff. It really helps serve the membership the best possible. It creates that, like I said, great atmosphere in the golf shop that members want to be a part of it. They see you like what you're doing, you're having a good time, and they want to be there too. And I think I've really tried to continue that in any role I've taken going forward, not just the merchandise team, but like young golf professionals in the shop as well.
That's awesome. That's so important for sure. I know you've been recognized as what I like to think of as a true power user of Golf Genius Golf Shop. In the last few years, I know you've shared a lot with us, whether at our regional events or when we're on our Zoom Florida meetups, those sorts of things. So, when did you first start using the platform, and how has it evolved in how you've used it for your retail operation?
So when I started at Meisner, Dennis over there, Dennis Rye, the director of golf, was already soft using Golf Genius. So they still had their special order binder that, you as a buyer too, just you coveted. And then they were using Golf Genius to start to record special orders. So when I got there, it was already somewhat in place, and I was extremely tentative on using it. New
Really?
job, new software, it just seemed like a lot. I really didn't jump in fully, but once I saw the capabilities of it and how much It made my life easier. It empowered the staff and the shop to be more a
Mm,
part of the team and really gave the members a broader, bigger merchandise outlet.
mm.
It was easy to just jump in.
I feel like it has that immediate payoff, even if a staff member is maybe a little bit nervous about using it or is unfamiliar with it. You get that it's not something you have to wait to see how it goes. You get like that immediate feedback that, oh, this is so easy. It's helpful on for the members, for us. So it is motivating, I think, to get people to use it.
Absolutely. The ease of which it is for you and for the member is
Right.
just, it's huge. Yeah.
Even though you'd think it's really just for the shop and the staff, but no, it serves the members just as much by having
It,
it.
it it does. Everyone is from older members to younger members. Everyone is so well versed in online shopping and understands, especially from like Amazon, that you
Mm,
get email notifications constantly updating you about your orders. And the members want that in the golf shop too. Why wouldn't we want to give that to them?
exactly. Can you share a few examples of how you've used the Golf Genius Golf Shop software that really drove results, maybe from your time at Meisner, maybe it was your surveys or online order forms or those sorts of things? Anything specific?
Yeah, I think the online order forms are something that every shop should be using. It's something that really gives you some flexibility about what your members want, but it also gives you an ability to offer more to your members and offer more to the members that maybe don't always come into the golf
Mm,
shop. So you get to reach everybody, especially those members who are always like, I'm not a golfer, so I'm not going to go into the golf shop. And if they get an email that's got an online order form with Lululemon bags or
right.
something non-golf related that they don't even realize you carry, they feel
Mm,
more included in what their club has to offer as well. I think it takes a minute to figure out what your members want on those order forms. We did flash sales at Meisner that worked really well to move older merchandise. It was a smaller shop, so we were able to use the online order forms to offer best-selling items in more colors,
mm,
more styles from best-selling vendors. And it had such a huge impact on our retail operation over there.
very cool. And did you ever use it for member surveys?
I did. I actually, over at Mirasol, right when I got there, they're using Golf Genius too for special orders and things like that. But I sent out a survey for the membership there to just get a feel for
Mm,
what they want, what they don't want, what they're looking for. And we got a really great feedback from the members, really good participation in that. And for me, that builds also a member profile. It's
mm,
a bigger club than I've been at in a little while. And it's hard to get to know 2,000 members in a couple
mhm.
of months before season. So having a member come in and then being able to look at their survey results in their profile, I know what they like, what size they are, without having to dig and make the members work for it. I already have that information provided.
That's great. And that's a great idea for being at a new facility to do. I could almost see that also working maybe for like new members, even if it's not the merchandiser being new, but maybe every quarter they send a survey to, if there's 20 new members in that quarter or new family, sending it to them. That could be a nice kind of introductory way to gather that information on them for sure.
Absolutely. And make them feel like you're really interested in, which you are, you're really
Yeah.
interested in what they want when they get
Hmm.
to the club, for sure. There's also a great feature from that survey that when you build that member profile and someone says they love Peter Millar, like everyone does, but you can take that information and send a quick email to every member that responded and said they liked Peter Millar when you put a new group out,
Oh, wow.
when you're running a sale for them, when you're doing that. So you're really targeting the people that want that information, and it's so quick and easy.
Sure. That's awesome. Yeah, because not everyone maybe wants to hear about the juniors and ladies' clothes, but others just want to hear about the golf equipment. So that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
Very cool. For shops that are just beginning to use Golf Genius Golf Shop, what advice would you give them to get the most out of the platform and not feel overwhelmed by it?
I honestly would say I was lucky enough. I started at Meisner in April, so I had the off season to just really play around with it. Just really take some time, experiment with the online order forms, really see what the platform can offer. It actually the help. I know a lot of times when you go on the help chat or the help articles are not super helpful places. For Golf Genius, it is so comprehensive and such a great staff to help that any question you have on the spot can almost be answered immediately, which I think is nice that it's not so discouraging when you get like to a point that you're creating online order forms and then you're stuck that you have to wait days to hear back from someone or figure out how to make it work. You get almost instant feedback. So I think the biggest thing is just find some time to really see what it can do and how it could help you. But I also think that it's really trial and error. We went through a few order forms that got one or two orders, and then some order forms that got 100 orders. It's figuring out what your membership wants, what they like, and really just what works for you.
That's great. And I think, like you said, maybe starting in the off season is a good
Mhm.
way to start when you're maybe have less special orders coming in and just less that you'd be using it for, so you can really get to know it and understand it.
Yeah, for me, I'm not super tech savvy, and it's obviously a very online, it's all computer based. Taking the time to really do those order forms, making the online order forms used to take me probably an hour to put that together, and now it's no time at all. So even if I take 15, 20 minutes and make an online order form and we get 50 orders from it, so worth the 20 minutes to do that. Whereas when it was taking a long time in the beginning to figure it out, sometimes you'd be discouraged if you didn't get quite as many orders, but it really, once you get it, it's quick. And like I said, I am not very tech oriented, so if I can do it, anyone can.
That's great. And I know, like you said, they have a lot of great resources. And I know at least the last few years, they've done some great education at the PGA show where they've hosted seminars and panels. I know they do webinars throughout the year on some topics. So definitely some education available on it.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough. They've included me on a few of those. Kelsey, Joe, and I were just on a panel at this last PGA show, and the questions we get from people are just great. They showcase what we do and then live questions. So the webinars do that too if you don't get a chance to be up at the PGA show. And in our area, I can't speak for every area, but we have two or three like local people that whenever we have a question, they if they can't help us, they'll get us in the direction that we can. They do training for each facility if you need it. They really do. They assist. And then I would say too, which I forgot to mention, they really listen to us. If there's something that's not on there that you think should be on there, let them know. They're always innovating and adding things, and we're the ones like boots on the ground. We're the ones using it. And so they want to provide us with the best possible options to use their site.
Absolutely. They definitely provide a really well-rounded service. It's not just something that your club purchases and you're on your own. They're there
Mhm.
to help. So I've loved hearing about your Instagram live QVC style product showcases you and your team have done. I think it's such a fun interpretation and interactive. How did that come about? And can you tell us a little bit about how those have worked?
Yeah, so one thing we did at Meisner and what I mentioned before with this great team atmosphere is one of the things that we did to make things fun and exciting in the golf shop was Christina Merkel, the lead professional there, runs the Instagram. And we did videos and promotions and all sorts of such fun stuff on their social media page. They have a golf specific Instagram, so we were able to run that however we saw fit versus like the club having its own more, I guess, more uniform approach on one page. So the golf page, Christina and I, like most buyers and retailers, know that when a member is asking for the newest thing when they come in and you take them into the back office and maybe show them their favorite brand's new box of stuff right out of the package and right out of the box in your office, they love that. They feel like they're getting a sneak peek. They feel special. And Christina and I were like, why can't we do that for every member? Why
Mm,
can't we make every member feel like we're showing them something special and early? And so we started doing that unboxing thing in our back office where I'd video or Christina would video and we'd take stuff out and tell them what we liked and let them either call or DM the account live or make comments on it live that they wanted what was already in the right out of the box. We were selling stuff. It was fun. It was fun for
mhm.
them. It was fun for us. It was a really fun idea.
Very cool. Was there any specific items or times that you use that were like a runaway success? Was it like a holiday or a certain brand or what was trending?
I think for us, for that kind of format, it was something like they didn't have to try on. So the
Mm,
Lululemon holiday bags were just easy sells. They saw the big fluffy belt bag and were like, oh, my granddaughter would like that. Oh, I love that. Versus, oh, I like that, but I don't know how it's going to fit me. So I think
mm.
things that are just easy, quick impulse buys are really the best for that type of format.
I love that. That's a good tip to think about things that someone doesn't have to try on or worry about their size. That's a good, quick, easy impulse purchase.
I I think in general, those online order forms for me had to be things that people already knew their size for or were familiar with the brand or
Mm,
didn't have to know a size. Just because it's a little tough to order. We don't have the same return policy as Amazon, so it's a little harder to
right.
send back stuff like they do. I found better success that way or with things that were already in the shop that it was
Mm,
easy for them to come in and try on. Like we did lucky shoe sales on there, like lucky shoe size sales. So they could just, if they knew their size, they could definitely just order it. But if not, they could come by, they knew we had it, try it on, and then we would just take it off the form.
very good tips there. So now at Mirasol, I know you're getting ready to open a brand new retail space, which is very exciting, especially since it's a newer facility for you and a new shop. So lots of exciting things. How are you approaching your retail operation while you're in a temporary shop so
Yeah.
that you're able to still make sure that your members are getting that elevated experience?
Yeah, it's definitely like anyone who's gone through a renovation. It's a challenge in the temporary pro shops. We're lucky enough that we have a pretty big space for how temporary and small it is for the membership, but it's enough to put a good amount of product in there and offer them that. But it gets crowded very quickly in that small space with all the staff and a few members. What we've tried to do to still offer the members the most pleasant experience as well as the most stuff is we've done 1 to 2 pop-ups or trunk shows or merchandise events outside of the
Mm,
shop. We've started our team at Marisol is we are programmed now to know how to do this. We've been doing it for months that we set up a tent, tables, everything right out on the range, whether it's vendors coming in to do trunk shows and bring extra product or us bringing out our product from the shop to put out on the range. Members have really reacted super well to it. Definitely a lot of more work and a lot of team effort putting it all together. I'm not carrying tables and putting up tents all by myself, so it's a huge team effort, but it's been fun, challenging, but I really do think worth the extra effort for sure.
that's such a great idea, especially being in Florida. We're lucky
Yes.
enough that we have pretty generally favorable weather to do that, but that's such a great idea. Get outside. I think even just being sometimes in a different location kind of gets people's attention that maybe wouldn't come inside the shop or aren't thinking of retail if you spot them somewhere else on property. So that's really fun.
Yeah, it's been good. We just finished our last few before we March is our tournament season. A few more coming up, but it's 1 or 2 times a week to get out there. It's nice. It's been nice. Yeah. And for me, a nice way to meet a lot of members.
Oh, I bet. Definitely.
hmm
And so, how long will you be in your temporary space for before your shop reopens?
So the target date for opening the new shop is November 1, which is super exciting for fall buying, which we're
Oh,
doing right
yes.
now. Yeah. I joined the team in September, but they have been in that temporary facility since the May prior.
Oh, wow.
They moved
Okay.
in May, I came in September, and then November 1 is when we plan on moving in or opening. So we'll be moving in a little earlier.
Awesome. So, is that helping you in your, like you said, doing your fall buying? How are you approaching that? Are you using that space to your advantage, or how is that kind of formulating without physically being in there and knowing, oh, this is how much fits in this fixture, this is how much we need there? How's that going?
Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned that. Joe Beezup, the director of golf, and I actually were just on a call last week or the week before with some of the design team asking those questions.
Okay.
It's hard to buy when you don't know like how much is going to fit
Right.
on things.
Sure.
So it was super exciting at the PGA show to finally be looking at stuff that's going to be in that new space. But then as I was sitting down to write orders, I was like, man, I don't know how much is going to fit everywhere or what everything's capabilities are. So we just had a really informative talk with the design team there to get some of that information. So it gives us a little bit more idea of what can go where and that kind of stuff. Just super exciting though. Feels real.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, because I could see that being a challenge if you're in a shop for at least a little bit of time. You get to know the space without even thinking about natively where things fit, what makes sense. So I could see that being not a huge challenge, but just something else to consider when you're reopening.
For sure. I was lucky enough to be involved when I was at Royal Palm. We did like a facelift on the shop. So it wasn't a full knockdown rebuild, but enough that when I got in that space, I realized the same thing. I was like, oh, this is totally different than the shop I've had for however many years. And I didn't quite realize how different fixtures would display different things or how much new fixtures would have. So it was
Mhm.
definitely something on my mind going into this remodel.
And what are you most excited about for this new space to open?
So the new space has the whole bottom floor is golf shop and a lobby that leads up to upstairs. There's a restaurant, outdoor seating, outdoor bars, but that whole first floor is essentially all golf. So we have the ability to use the lobby for trunk shows, bring out extra merchandise. We have a backyard area that we can do the same in. So I just feel like there's so many possibilities to the space and the building itself that lends itself to great merchandising events.
Very cool. That sounds extra special that you'll have that little bit of extra space. So can't wait to see what you do with it. So what's one piece of advice you'd share with fellow merchandisers who want to bring more energy or creativity and collaboration into their shops, whether it's something like social media and videos? So any advice for those type of folks?
I think everyone gets busy day to day, so those videos and those social media postings that you do are tough. Sometimes easier in the off season when maybe there's not quite as many members around. But I do think it really goes back to creating that fun atmosphere in the golf shop. I think it's so important that the staff is all involved in it. We brushed a little bit on it on Golf Genius too, that every staff member is part of that merchandise team. Whether you're in the shop an hour a day or all day, members are going to ask you for information about the merchandise. And the more everyone feels like they're part of a team, I think the more those things just lend themselves to that. You want to spend time together. You want to do
Mhm.
fun videos together. You want to do those things that help ultimately, like I said, just really help the membership. They see that it's a fun place to be in and they want to be there. They want to be part of the fun. The Meisner members were so receptive and so appreciative of all of those videos that we did. They knew the time it took, the hours Christina took putting it together, and they loved seeing us. They loved we put their dogs in some of their videos. Like they loved it, and it was fun for us too.
That's awesome. Thank you. And one final question. You are very involved in the AGM, whether it's being a regional liaison, hosting our AGM Florida regional events when you're at Meisner, to helping facilitate our Florida Zooms. You're just so collaborative and involved in the Florida community, which is awesome. What advice might you have for maybe merchandisers newer to the AGM or getting started who might want to get involved more in the AGM? Because you're who I think of when folks ask me that or folks are looking to get involved. I think of you as my South Florida local example.
That's so nice. Thank you. I honestly think that a lot of people don't realize everything that AGM has to offer. I think we spend so much time at our jobs and doing that work that we lose the connections that AGM can provide. My husband and I are both in the industry, and so we've been down here 20 years working and have these great connections to tons of different pros or buyers or people in the area. And AGM to me is what he has in the PGA. It's a way that I can connect with other buyers in the area. It's a way to get good ideas, great advice, all those things that I think we get really isolated in our own little bubble. And I'm guilty of it too. And I think that's why I so wanted to get involved in AGM. And I think too that being in the business for X amount of time, you think maybe there's not anything you can learn or any new things you can do. But I think AGM provides so much great information that you can constantly be learning and continuing to grow in your job or new jobs. I think it gives such a great opportunity and such a great voice to everybody.
Thank you. Glad to hear that, and so glad to have you a part of our community.
Oh, I so appreciate being a part of it.
Awesome. That about wraps up my questions for today. Thank you so much, Jody. It's been so terrific talking to you and having you share a little bit more about your career using Golf Genius Golf Shop, your renovation at Mirasol. So thank you so much for being so willing to share with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Justine. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of the Fairway to Retail Success. Thank you so much for being here, and we look forward to seeing you again soon in an upcoming episode. Take care, everyone.